Welcome to and welcome back to HBCU, the show, the podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts, good rising good people, Bobby K here, and my fellow co-host.
Ashamed to Dream, you already know what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And our honorary guest, our lovely editor. Ooh, 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 ooh.
Well, not well, y'all. What's good?
There you go.
Let's
There you go.
go.
Yes, sir.
Do
Hey,
this thing.
we're recording this right after Juneteenth. I hope everybody had a good Juneteenth, especially, But nevertheless, we got a nice little topic for y'all, a strong discussion. And we could go a lot of different ways with this, right? Being mainstream versus staying niche. So if you watched us for a while, we did an episode previously titled Should We Gatekeep Black Culture? And Hashim and I had a discussion about that. But today we kind of want to delve a little bit farther out, more macro. So what sparked this conversation was, in the WNBA, there's been a lot of conversations going on about attendance being as high as it's ever been, ratings, viewership, everything's being as high as it's ever been. Caitlin Clark effect, the Angel Reese effect, the different rookies, shout out to Cameron Brink, all different of those ladies. But with that has came a lot of backlash and a lot of just kind of toxic conversations in regards to, are people playing dirty towards Caitlyn and all different types of shit. And it made me think, like, being mainstream, it has its benefits in terms of, being able to have a broader audience, being able to monetize more, having more eyes and attention towards you for different opportunities. But there's another side of the argument of, do you lose some of your purity when you become, more out there and more broadened in terms of your audience? So what do you guys think initially when you hear that? Mm-hmm.
To start with, it has its benefits, but it depends on how it came to be mainstream and what the intention is when it's a rise in popularity. So, given Marvel movies, for example, or Star Wars, or even video games to an extent, there is this incessant need to bring something like very that's rising in popularity. There's a need to make it for a modern audience when you're trying to force that mainstream and try to drive it further just for the sake of it to stay mainstream. Miles Morales has been a popular character before even the movies. You feel me? He's been rising in
Mm-hmm.
the Marvel comic book landscape. People dig him. Spider-Man fans was starting to like him too. But there comes a point when movies come into play, and some people will think, "Oh, let's use them to capitalize on bringing in a modern audience, like black people. Let's snatch them up. Let's snatch them
Mm-hmm.
up and start throwing this character in, but also making other characters look bad in the process."
So
So,
basically, like, kind of pandering to a certain
yes,
demographic to bring them into the.
exactly.
Okay.
Versus, I'm gonna finish this up so Hashim can go. Versus anime. I feel like that's been the most pure niche to mainstream transition I've ever seen in any media because
Great.
it's the anime just comes from manga, and you can't influence these people from Japan making this manga. It's whatever their vision is. They have the editors and whatnot. They do talk and kind of do their research on how fans are reciprocating or receiving some of this information going on. It might affect the story a little way, but overall, it's still that creator, and then that translates to anime, and it's still part of Japanese culture, and the Japanese will still try to blend stuff from other cultures they appreciate. They're not pandering to anybody. They're staying true to themselves. So if you're gonna go mainstream, you have to make sure you're staying true to yourself. It's if it's to be for a modern audience, once you try to do it for a broader audience, I feel like you lose your identity. At that point, it's already a lost cause. Go ahead, Ashim. I talk way too much. Fuck.
I feel like I agree with you. I feel like when you stay niche, whatever category it may be, whether movies, anime, or sports as it is, when you stay niche, you're you're going towards your main fans. Like if these people are your fans, they legit your fans. Like they
Mhm.
know stuff about you. They're fans of the game, how you play, blah blah blah. When you start making it more broad and try to amuse all different types of audiences, that's where, just like Wale said, you just start losing people, and you start losing the people that are actually fans that actually go out to say the other events, that not just the big movies or the big games. They're actually, oh, let me go to the All-Star game. Oh, they're gonna be here. Let me go drive 2 miles or 2 hours to have a meet and greet. You're losing that because you're making it broad, and then the main fans are losing interest because like, this is not the character, or this is not how this person really is in real life, or how they are on this team. So I think the way they're portrayed is going to affect the real fans, which leads to the downfall of whatever industry that team or movie or whatever is
And
for.
Star Wars ain't doing good right now at all. I'm gonna tell you that
Well,
right
that's why
now.
it's
Ah,
going for, going try to get more people, but in that case, you're losing fans in other aspects.
mhm.
I'll tackle the WNBA part of it in a little bit later, but from a overall point, like I think of it from a musically, right? A lot of times, like there's an artist that you might start listening to in their early stages, like when they
Drake,
first started. Who?
that's a Drake.
Oh, we're not talking about dead bodies on here. But anyway, just kidding, not really. But no, seriously, there's artists that you listen to at early stages when they first come out that, they could be putting out mixtapes or they could be just doing EPs. We used to have the SoundCloud era, blog era, those different type of things. And you get attached to these artists because they feel very grounded.
Authentic.
Yeah, if they feel authentic, they feel grounded. You feel like you can actually access them. Like, when there was Facebook around, you could DM them or message them possibly and get an answer. Nowadays it's like it's harder to do that, especially if they've grown a lot from that point to 10, 15 years later and they're selling out arenas or they're doing different things. It's harder to have access to them outside of what you hear in their music or whatever they post on social media about, their life. So in a sense, like you said, Ashim, it's kind of like the more mainstream you become and as an individual, it's like it's great for your pockets, but it's not always great, A, for your authenticity of what you presented yourself as previously and initially that made your core audience hold on to you in the first place. And two, I don't think it helps with creativity. Now, maybe you guys have pushback on that, but like you use the anime.
No, I
Okay.
see where you're coming from because immediately when you talked about the individual, I thought of two people. Is primarily I thought of Keanu Reeves and I thought of The Rock. Now,
Mm.
Keanu, we all know him because Matrix, but then he like everything in between. He was like he wasn't in the mainstream like that. Wasn't in the scene. Still known, but not in the scene. Then
Mhm.
comes John Wick, blown up again, references songs even in games, but at the same time, he's
Gotta
still
protect the
not in
dog.
the mainstream like that. Too much. It's funny, all the success, all his notoriety, all these references and memes, but he's still not in the mainstream. Versus The Rock, though, from
Wait. You wouldn't consider Keanu Reeves mainstream?
his
No, I would say the
Why?
way he is as a person, he doesn't want to get all the attention. Like,
yeah,
I'm gonna let Wale finish with The Rock, which is the complete opposite of what I think Keanu Reeves is. Go ahead.
yeah,
Yeah,
Keanu is a
again.
mainstream, but he doesn't cement himself in that light. He's known more so than ever, but he's not in your feed every day. Not hearing something about him every day. He's not appearing as another celebrity, social media every day in some shape or fashion or commercials. Not really. The Rock, from WWE to the Fast and Furious movies to other movies and little skits here and there, and like all the Instagram stuff, and there's even drama of this, saying how he's like how the Rock's past coming up to him. Like there's shit in media surrounding him, both good and bad, and it makes you wonder if he is being authentic at times. And sometimes he'll say the wrong thing, and people will latch onto that and come at him hard. Then he got to say something, and you wonder if it's really how he feels or if it's just a PR stunt to save face. Keanu, you don't see that. He just does what he does, what he likes, gets that fame, but then he's just out. He's on to the next thing, or he's just low key. The Rock is all over, for better or for worse.
I have a question then. So what do you guys consider mainstream?
No, no,
Because
I'm not saying Keanu's not mainstream,
that's
but
what you just said. You just said he's not mainstream compared to The Rock.
no. I said he's mainstream, but he doesn't cement himself in the mainstream light in his day to day.
Okay, so my question is then, what do you guys consider to be mainstream compared to niche? That's what my question is.
That I'm not surprised if I see you in some another celebrities like social media or in all these fancy events or oh The Rock did this. The Rock is if you're not flooding, if I'm not seeing Twitter or Instagram something about you every single day or you're involved in some fancy project and you're in all these interviews and um these red carpets all over the place, then I don't really consider you mainstream from an individual sense.
Yeah. I
Mhm.
you and there's always like a point where you your niche person could reach mainstream. Like I would say Kai Cenat's mainstream, right? I would also say you don't think Kai Cenat's mainstream,
I think
Bobby?
he's mainstream on the internet,
Yes.
social media.
You know who Kai Cenat is?
Of course, I know who Kai Cenat is. So here's my
If
thing.
I say it,
Go ahead, go ahead.
I say if a random person knows who Kai Cenat is in different countries, I'm going to say he's mainstream,
So
or
then,
that said person is mainstream.
so if that's the case, then that would apply to Keanu Reeves. That would apply to J. Cole. That would apply just because
Bro,
these.
these are movie stars though.
Okay, but
So
what I'm saying is, wait, hold on, hold on.
hold on,
So
real quick, Bobby. Just to add to, I think because you brought up authenticity, that's what I'm staying. That's the thing that I'm thinking about in this case of mainstream. Maybe I got mixed up, but in
okay,
terms of how mainstream affects certain people, it didn't affect Keanu the way it affects other people. I feel like, or they're standing in the eyes of the public. Go ahead.
so my confusion is that when I think of mainstream, right? So Hashim, you mentioned Kai. When I say Kai's mainstream on social media, I'm not saying that he doesn't have actual like notoriety in real life. But what I'm saying is, we know a lot of people who are internet stars, but like being a star on the internet and being a star in terms of like when I think mainstream, I think household name. I think like my parents know who you are. Like my parents knows who Kendrick Lamar is. My parents knows who J. Cole is. My parents knows who The Rock is. My parents,
Jackie Chan.
y'all parents, huh?
Jackie Chan.
Jackie Chan. My parents, y'all parents know who these people are. If I ask them who certain people who we know on the internet because we're using the internet for our age and our generation, they're not going to be familiar with them. So are they technically mainstream or are they just internet famous? You get what
I would still say he's mainstream. It's just that he's not around long enough as J. Cole, Kendrick Lamar. I
I mean,
think,
they also do different things, but I feel you.
yeah. Like I would use RDC World used to be very niche and like they did anime content. They did anime content. They did black content. Now they're doing, they do basketball stuff. They
Short
do
film.
all different type. Yeah, they're doing a whole bunch of other stuff as they expand to a bunch of audience. But they also still staying true to what they started out with. But I think mainstream, just because your parents don't know,
There's
don't
levels to
mean
it.
yeah. I still think Kai Cenat's mainstream. He's not perform. He danced at Nicki Minaj's. If he know Nicki Minaj, he
She's
has
been on his
20.
stream.
Yeah, but if
Yeah.
she, why bring him up at her concert?
No, he's no Kai is famous. I'm not saying it like that. Like he's had a bunch of celebrities and rappers on his stream.
Yeah,
I'm just looking at it from like household names, like people like you see them on the TV, you immediately know who it is, regardless of age, regardless of generation, gender, whatever the gap is or the differences is in walks of life. You are familiar with who this person is or who this company is. You know what I'm
I
saying?
I,
I
I
think
think there's
it's
levels to it.
I think it comes down to longevity. 'Cause I can say Michael Jackson. Everybody know who Michael Jackson is, but he
Uh,
been around for decades or was around for decades.
Right. That's fair.
Uh,
So, okay, so how about this? I have another question then to follow up. Do you think it's possible to be mainstream while still being niche at the same time, or is it just it's
yeah,
too separate to intersect?
You can.
Because
Are you talking about people in general, or are you talking about anything? And
well, it's separate. It's two separate things. So can you be mainstream and niche, A, as an individual, and then B, as like I guess an entity? Like,
Well,
whereas you're well known, but you still have like certain details that only your core or initial audience really
yeah,
can.
anime
I
is an example of
yeah,
that.
I was gonna say that hasn't changed. There's although more people has grown. I don't know why how that happened, but a lot more people start watching it.
Memes, memes,
Huh?
memes.
Meme's been around for
No, I
decades,
wouldn't even say it's
bro.
memes. I would say
No,
it's
I'm
pop
saying
culture
anime
with a,
memes.
and maybe to an extent some of the comic book stuff that's helped like traject it into the mainstream. Because you got Michael B. Jordan talking referencing anime. You got Meg The Stallion. Then people will dig further. You find out RZA has some anime influences and shit
Wu
like
Tang in
that.
general, yeah.
Wu
Samuel
Tang
L.
in
Jackson.
general. There you go.
You
It was
mentioned
a steady
anime?
climb.
Yeah.
When?
I'll pull up a clip for you after.
It was a steady climb, basically. Um, yeah, it's possible.
I just feel
Okay.
like,
I think
from
so.
my perspective, I feel like when you're a niche, like there's a certain, like I said, a connectivity that you have with the audience as an individual, right? Where, like I said, you could do meet and greets, you can do these different things. It's harder to do those type of things once you get to a certain stage, whether it's followers on social media, whether it's, you do films or you do shows or you have platinum projects or whatever the case may be. It becomes harder to have that level of like touch towards your fan base or towards your supporters that you can when you're kind of middle of the pack popularity or known, or if you're just underground. And so I think that makes it easier because you don't have to compromise yourself as much. When you
Hmm.
become mainstream, you have to start kind of making business decisions on what you say, what you do, what type of moves you make, who's around you. Those type of things you don't have to worry about as much when you're niche.
I think you could still be the same person when you're niche and or getting bigger and expand to same audience.
You can,
But
but
this,
I feel like we see the opposite very often.
oh, for sure. The first two names when you were saying that, I thought of Chance the Rapper,
Mm-hmm.
and I thought of Doja Cat as the first two that came up to my head. Yeah, bro, complete. Like I used to be a big fan of Chance, not big fan, but I liked his music, acid
Same.
rap. And
Mm-hmm.
then he started throwing out some garbage music. And I'm not talking about Jesus music. I'm talking
I would say
about
because Color and Broke
the
was a classic.
ABCDEFG music.
The big
Um,
day. The big day.
yeah, and
Right.
Doja Cat's whole personality is just. We've seen it go from like Twitter, where she put out the cow whatever song,
Bitch, I'm a cow.
yeah, to very demonic and very different. But
I mean, not to mention her edge lord, being in chat rooms where, a lot of
yeah,
white
true.
folks say, and yeah, that type of, edge lord shit. But yeah, those are perfect examples too. They're like mainstream in terms of like they could sell out an arena, but they're also not like, well, Doja Cat, I think she's more of a pop artist, but I feel like Chance is not really a household name. Like our generation knows who Chance is, but I don't think a lot of people who are like over 40 or 50 knows who Chance the Rapper is. You know what I'm saying?
Bro, but that's still
But that's the difference.
um
Question for you.
it doesn't
Question
Yeah.
have
for
to.
you.
Man, half the people that don't know how to use technology that's like 40 years old.
So, Bobby, my question for you is: if someone is not a household name, you don't consider them mainstream?
I find it harder to consider the mainstream, yes, because like if I ask a person that I know, oh, do you know who this is? It's a higher probability they're gonna say no or maybe. I'm not really sure. So yeah.
I have a perfect example.
Okay.
I talked to my coworkers. They did not know who Bad Bunny was. I'm pretty sure Bad Bunny is pretty mainstream. It's just not in
Oh
their
yeah.
and not. It's just possible that certain things or songs or genres are not in their perspective.
Maya asks, what was the demographic of your coworkers who said they don't know who Bad Bunny is?
And yes,
Hot
yes,
take.
they were.
Yes. Okay. Got
I'm
it.
so
That's all I
hot
need to
take,
know.
hot take real fast. I'm sick of Bad Bunny. I don't care for Bad Bunny. I die inside when his music is played at an event, like
What
at
you
a
do
party
you?
or a lounge.
What do you
I
do
die
you?
slowly. I die slowly, bro.
What's wrong with
I
Bad Bunny?
I just don't. I don't care
You
for
know,
his music, bro.
I find that Wale
Why
doesn't
side?
like when
Crazy.
other stuff are hyped up. He's like, man, I feel like that really makes
No,
you
that's not
not
really true
wanna.
because I fuck with Afrobeat and that's been hyped up a lot, especially Burna Boy stuff. I give it to that. It's just
Yeah,
the
but
shit.
you were already listening to that before, were you not?
And you're
I
Nigerian.
was I was listening to the whole what's his name? What's his name? What was it? What's his name? He passed away. Rest his soul.
That's the way.
Baby, welcome to the party. What was his name?
Pop Smoke.
Yeah, Pop Smoke. I heard his shit, not privately, but like
You didn't like him though. I was
in
with you.
events.
I was in parties with you when Pop Smoke
Yes,
comes on. You get pissed
exactly.
off.
Yeah. Yeah, it's the same thing with Bad Bunny. It's not the fact, it's just I
So
just
is this proof? Does that
That you're proving his point. Like, what are you talking about?
oh no, yeah, I guess.
Okay,
Anyway,
so can I ask a follow-up question?
what's
Do you,
up?
because it will tie into what we're talking about. Do you listen to like Latin music, Latin pop
No,
music?
no.
Okay, so wait, relax. So that's my point. You don't listen to Latin pop music. So
Mm-hmm.
that's why I'm a little confused that you said you don't like Bad Bunny, because if a person who is Latino, for example, right? If they listen to that type of genre all the time, I could see a lot of them, if Colombian, whoever, that'd be like, I don't really like Bad Bunny because he just kind of makes generic version of our genre. The same way some people who are African, who are Nigerian, who are South African, whatever, may look at a Burna Boy or look at a Wizkid and say, "Oh, their form of Afrobeats is too mainstream. It's too commercialized." That's kind of what happens when you are kind of at the forefront of representation of a demographic in whatever the field is you do. A lot of the people who are in that culture are going to have a harder time appreciating what you do compared to people who are not, because they're more familiar with the genre. So you're
Mm-hmm.
more familiar with Afro beats.
Mm-hmm.
Therefore, you have an appreciation for artists who aren't as well known as a Tyler or as a Tim's or as a.
But I will say
Okay.
though, no, but I will say that I am familiar with rap though, and Pop
Okay.
Smoke and all these drill rappers and all that. I do not appreciate and even care for because I know of older rap. I've been in that culture,
Go
but
ahead,
yeah, it's
Akeem.
still hyped up and mainstream for whatever fucking reason, and people want to reference it and then question me and hate on me, saying, "Oh, why do you hate everything?" Like, no, I don't hate everything. I hate trash rap.
Yeah,
I
but you
hate
hate
that
drill
shit.
music in general.
Because
Right.
this shit is trash. I've yet to
Well,
hear one
to
good
you,
thing. I've probably heard
subjectively.
maybe, huh?
Subjectively, it's trash.
No, please, no, no, I know. There's a craft to music, and there's a point where you gotta say stop. Art is a craft, or it requires a level of expertise. Same thing with music. I'm not going to hear someone say, "Ah," and that you're gonna say that's music. No, hell no.
Okay,
There is a
bet.
craft to these things.
I bet. So name like 3 or 4 of your favorite artists right now that you listen to on a regular basis.
Eminem, Busta Rhymes, Burna Boy.
Eminem, perfect example. You know how many people could say, "Oh, Eminem's trash." Eminem's
Kendrick, J.
okay,
Cole.
okay,
There you
okay.
go.
Most of the artists you said name past the vibe check, and even Eminem's a legend. But Eminem is also arguably the most popular artist in hip hop history, and a lot of people attest to his popularity and being as mainstream and selling out stadiums to him being white and him making very commercialized music that, especially the last few years, have been kind of bland and regurgitating compared to what he used to do earlier in his career when he was more niche, a little bit more edgy, weird edgy, but still. Slim Shady, right. So people could look at you like an M, like, oh, wow, of course, how convenient you like the biggest artist in hip hop history and one of the biggest artists ever.
But then you have to ask, then the next question is, why do you like him? Or then you
He's-
ask me, oh, do you like his newer stuff? Because I can, like, for example, I could like something or someone a lot. They can be my favorite thing in the world. That doesn't mean everything they do is in my radar.
Yeah.
Let's not even look at music. Let's look at either Dragon Ball. All the new shit with Dragon Ball, I don't give a flying fuck for.
Sparking
But
Zero?
huh?
Sparking Zero?
That's an exception. I'm talking about anime wise.
All right, cool.
For the movie,
Just
that shit, I don't give a flying fuck for because quality wise, back then the quality was high. Now it's low.
Hashim, so true or false to you? The more mainstream that an individual or entity is, the bigger the budget, but the less creativity. Is that true or
I
false?
don't think that's necessarily true.
Really?
Yeah.
Why?
I feel like you could look at J. Cole. J. Cole has put a lot of work in his stuff, although he's now has a bigger budget and now has his own record. Um, I don't think that's necessarily true that the bigger the budget, less creative you can get. But I do agree that you probably don't have as much authority as you used to because it was just you. But
Mhm.
now, as you get bigger, you're gonna have like a team. You're gonna have a social media manager. You're gonna have somebody that's like, you can't post that, bro. You wilding. You can't post that. Delete
We
it.
see people delete tweets on a regular basis.
Yeah,
Their PR team was probably on 10. Shut that shit down before you
yeah.
mess up this brand deal.
So I don't think it's necessarily true. I don't think it's necessarily false. It's a certain occasion.
Stop sitting on the fence, brother. You gotta pick one.
Yo, what's with y'all on that shit? He's trying to be impartial. That's how he feels.
I
Yeah,
It's not a
understand
yes
that,
or
but
no black and white answer.
no,
yeah.
but I asked true
Gray
or
area.
false generally. Of course, there's anomalies to everything, but in a general sense, does he think that's true or does he think that's false? That's the
Hashim, what say you?
What say I? I think it's say the question again. I think it's false.
the bigger the budget for mainstream, the less creative they are generally.
I think it's false.
Okay, Wale.
The bigger the budget, the less creativity.
It's just true or false. You can't tell your real feelings though.
No, you can tell your
It's-
feelings.
it's-
I'm just saying, what do you lean to? Okay, he knows what I mean. He knows what I mean. This guy.
I'm gonna say false.
What are you saying, Bob?
Why you think false?
Oh, because again, I've seen a lot of different create pieces of creativity, where some creators they really fully indulge in their creative mind. Like, I don't know if you ever heard of this game, Bobby, but it's called Death Stranding, and the creator, I forget his name off the top of my head. If you play that game, the story is just fucking bonkers, bro. It's something that the creator is happily with, 100% happy with because it's what he envisioned for his game story. I'm familiar with his other works, but I don't know what the fuck he was going for. I don't fuck with it, and I think it was some creator being a creative kind of thing where they were just going through their heart's content, not really thinking this through. He had a big ass budget for this game too, so he went balls to the walls with this. But I was not fucking with it. But he was happy with it.
So it sounds like you think that the statement I asked was true then.
No. He had creative freedom of the ages. I'm just saying what came of it just wasn't to my liking because it's his vision, completely his vision. It just in this circumstance, it was not for me.
Okay, so then in the case then you would, based on what you said, then because he had such a big budget, it wasn't that he was less creative, but it just didn't yield the results of big
it allowed him
budget.
to do everything he wanted to for his work, everything, without compromising who he is.
Yeah, and also being creative doesn't necessarily make it better than what you used to do.
Yeah.
Being too creative, you got too much. It's like, damn, I can do anything. I can put a trash album. I can put out so much stuff in this game. Who will stop me? Who gonna check me?
I think who gonna check me? I think being mainstream makes you a little bit lazier because, like you said, like you have the ability to have a machine behind you in regards to whatever medium that you're in. So for a video game, for example, if you have a big ass studio budget of like $5 to $10 million, you could put whatever type of graphics, characters, functionality into the game. It's very easy to be like, hey, listen, man, we're gonna just pull a 2K. We're gonna change like one or two features and pocket the rest. Hashim, tell me I'm lying.
Hey, I stopped playing 2K from 2013. Waste of money, man.
And why did you? Because remember when back in the day it used to be a little more niche. Remember, Live used to be more of the more popular basketball game than 2K. Remember that time?
Yeah. Yeah.
And then what happened?
I don't know what happened. I stopped playing.
I'm saying though, you enjoyed the earlier versions more than the last like what 5 years or so.
Oh yeah, because they kept putting the same thing out. They might update the amount of sweat you can see on the player. But 2K would essentially be 2K down to its core.
Updating the sweat on the
That's
player.
real. Bro,
I know.
Update the sweat, maybe change a little overall ranking depending on how they perform in the season, and boom, 2K 2025.
Don't even fix the shot release, nothing. Just bare to the bones. But this is my point. Like, I'm not saying you can't be creative or you can't be like we've seen all types of all-time works. If musically, early Kanye before he became Kanye, like he hit that's some of his best work ever, and that's some of the best work we've ever heard of the genre, like Big or Pac or whatever. They still had that authenticity, that creative feel, that this is layered, which kind of all brings me back to like the WNBA, right? And I feel like as someone who's watched the WNBA since I was a kid personally, I'm more familiar with how the game is played and how things are structured. And, obviously the WNBA has not always been profitable, and there's always been a lot of, stigmas and sexist jokes and stuff attached to them until recently with Caitlyn and Angel, what we mentioned before. But I feel like, especially with Caitlyn, her being the new future face of the league per se, and her having all this hype out of college, and her being white, I feel like a lot of people, conservative people and stuff, are attaching whatever narrative they have towards a predominantly black league, a predominantly gay league for the most part.
Wait, what?
So the WNBA is like predominantly black, and it's a strong LGBTQ
community.
Yeah. It's a lot of lesbians, it's a lot of bisexual women in the W. So why are you smiling?
I was not expecting that.
You know that?
It's true. I'm being sad ass.
I was not expecting that.
Nah, if you watch the W, you see it is very like apparent. But like, I feel like a lot of people are using their support of Caitlyn and the fact that she's getting fouled too hard in certain games, and are they targeting her? And she wasn't on the Olympic team, even though she's a rookie, and she's going through struggles and growing pains, obviously, as a rookie. I feel like certain people are using that to push their own personal agendas against some of the other representation of the league, if that makes sense. So that's why I asked, like, is it better that the W is getting more attention now?
Well, I think that's where the problem with the arguments that's been going on is because the WNBA hasn't gotten attention until this like past couple, especially this year, rookie class coming in, and then the people coming in from college in the next couple of years, right? And then them getting more revenue, more people watching, but then and then we, from our perspective, we just see the players being like, bro, we don't care about that, which is normal treatment for a rookie because it's a rookie. Did the same thing for LeBron. We don't care, but we don't think he's gonna change.
Bro, they did the same thing to rookies in the W. They did the same thing with Candace Parker, all of them, Diana.
But the difference is they didn't bring in the amount of revenue, getting you more private jets to go to games, getting you other benefits that you didn't
Shoe
have
deals.
prior to this season. And
Shoe
that's
deals.
yeah, and this is where the problem comes, because they're like, oh, you hating on this girl even though she getting you everything, but this girl is also a rookie. They ain't proved nothing yet. They just came straight out of college maybe like a month ago,
Mm-hmm.
and now you expect us to be like, all right, this is the face of the league.
And it's kind of like, all respect to Caitlyn, and she really is a transcendent talent, but she's not the only singular reason why the revenue and the viewership is up this year. Like, it was already, they had a record year last year too, before the class even came in this year, first off. And then on top of that, like Angel Reese, like her being like a celebrity and stuff herself, and other rookies mentioned, like Caitlyn might be at the forefront of it, but to make it seem like it's just a one-woman show that's bringing all this new attention, it's really disingenuous. And it kind of shows a lot of people didn't watch the WNBA before this year.
I think it also taking fact that the NCAA is getting more traction, right?
Mm-hmm.
Whether it's for women's, whether it be guys that's just attracted to the girls that are playing, so they're just gonna watch, right? And as well as these girls are getting contract deals, while now you can get paid in college.
Mm-hmm.
You could be sponsored. You could sponsor for makeup. You could be, you could do other
All type
stuff
of
that
bag. Yeah, you get all type of branding.
expands their own brand.
Mm-hmm.
So you'll know them more than you'll know I don't know, WNBA players like that. But
Asia Wilson, Brianna Stewart, I got you.
I'm surprised this brought this conversation up for you, Bobby, instead of like something like wrestling. Because as we talk about this more, I'm thinking of WWE. The more this conversation goes along.
Well, it definitely applies to wrestling too, 100%. I just wanted to mention the W because that's been like such a hot button topic for the past couple months.
I've heard nothing of it in the past couple months.
Well, see,
that's mainstream.
See, there you go.
It is mainstream. Stop it.
It's getting mainstream.
Well,
yes.
No, listen. So look, it is mainstream, but doesn't mean it will reach like something. Again, levels to it. There's mainstream that hits all corners, and there's some that's getting its face known in the public more and more, but not everyone still doesn't know. Like,
for example, wrestling wise, AEW. Me and Wale are going to an AEW pay-per-view. I'm taking him to a first show there. He hasn't watched AEW. He wasn't really familiar with them. He only knew of WWE because that's been the main and the largest brand and promotion of wrestling for the past 40 years. So this is me giving him an opportunity to see the second biggest brand in the world for wrestling and giving him a chance to see if this is what he likes, but also I feel like you wouldn't know much of the W anyway because you don't watch sports anyway like that. So that kind of makes sense.
You should also, going back to what Chris said a couple videos in one of our comments, record his reactions, enjoy your time and then talk about it after how his experience was.
I could do that.
Definitely.
Yeah, I wish I could go, but I wasn't invited.
Florida man, don't do that.
I wasn't invited.
Florida
I mean,
man,
when is it? The 29th?
It's the 30th.
30th? I was gonna say, all right, it's a weekend, just fly out from Florida, then go back.
Hey Wale, has he invited us to anything in Florida yet? And how long he been there?
No, he did not.
I didn't invite you to anything in Florida.
Thank you.
I didn't invite you to anything in Florida.
No, he invited us to his birthday.
I'm sorry, you invited us to something in Florida by the end of the year. You've been there for a year now, brother.
I gave you mad time to prep. You're welcome.
What's that LeBron meme?
That's true. Thank you for the prep time. That helps.
Jesus.
Fun's coming up soon. But yeah.
Do you guys have any other examples of, something that you wish was mainstream or wish was that stayed niche?
I wish anime stayed niche. I'm tired of hearing, my top 5 is Demon Slayer. My top 5, bro, no. Stop it.
Facts.
I wish
y'all just praised anime for being mainstream. Now y'all wish it wasn't.
I praise it. No. I just said that it is mainstream now, and it's still kept to its niche, right? It's still Yeah, go ahead.
Go ahead, Ashim. Go ahead.
I was saying it still applies to its main core audience, and then it changed to apply to everybody. It's just more
Yeah,
people
I agree
watch
with
it.
that.
I just wish it's still niche because all these people, these fake fans, be like, "Oh yeah, this anime trash, bro. Blah blah. I can't believe you watch this. That's so old.
So you
Naruto,
saying
that was garbage.
so you
The
saying
big
this a
three,
lot?
the big three. Oh, Bleach can't be in the big three. What are you talking about? What? This is not opinions. Go ahead. You got my hot. Yeah, go ahead.
So you
Yo,
so you
Ashim going crazy. I was
oh
there
God,
for it.
you wildin'. So you basically
Sure.
saying there's a lot of bandwagoners.
Yes.
Oh, for sure.
For the end to the ends of the earth, there are so many fucking. All right, all right, hold on. Yo, Hashim, cue the
Hey.
pain theme. Son, I really, when it comes to anime, I really am amazed by the kinds of people that are attracted to the most recent thing for the most superficial reasons and will shit on something that other people like or a legacy anime for very superficial reasons. And one of the key things is animation. No front, no funny shit. The anime coming out now, the animation, fire. But sometimes it's carried by it. And the story, it could be the most basic, bare bones things. It could be, oh, because there's blood, there's a badass character that's like, oh, I don't care for anything attitude. And they're like, oh my God, like they're the bad boy and all the girls fangirl and shit. We've seen that many times in anime. It's not new. You are just new to the game, boo boo. Calm it down.
Can I play devil's advocate though?
Go for it.
I want to play devil's advocate though.
Oh, here we fucking go. Go ahead.
Listen. I'm the non-anime person of the podcast. I'm just saying, would you guys have the same level of appreciation of it as you do if it was still niche? And the reason I ask is because oftentimes when things stay niche, people be like, damn, why everybody sleeping on this? Why everybody sleeping on this artist? Why is everyone sleeping on this show? Why is everybody not giving the praise? Come on, guys. Don't you guys see how great this thing is that I love?
Counterpoint. And we grew up in a time with this where if you being an anime fan, most likely put a target on your back. So you either hid it in secret or you were writing that shit proud. You didn't give a fuck who was down with it or not. You just be in the
called a nerd.
You be called a nerd, whatever. You could be lucky and have a group of friends who would stick by you, and you just have a whole circle and club, and you just dedicate your time and make memories with those people. Or you just was a loner and you just kept it on the low and you kept it pushing. You ain't really gonna lose sleep if it wasn't mainstream or not. Yeah. And if you gave up on it because people look down on you, well, I'm sorry, you were weak.
Well, damn, peer pressure is a thing, brother.
Don't give up what you love because other people. I'm sorry. I'm just saying.
I feel you. I'm just saying, like everyone.
I'm speaking from the heart.
Everyone isn't built like it to have that type of mindset. Like we know this.
I get it.
I forgot what you said, Bobby. What was the original, or what you asked before?
My point was, a lot of people very often people who things are underground or niche, whether it's artists, a show, a series. They're like, oh my God, why do people not appreciate this enough? This doesn't get talked about enough. Oh, you guys talk about drill music, or you talk about all these things that are just no substance. But this thing that has so much passion and effort and creativity and so much originality, and y'all show it no love. When y'all feel the same way about anime?
No, well, I'll say this. I'm happy that more people are watching, right? Because it's a different type of content that they're probably not used to. It's great stories, blah 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 blah. I'm just more dissatisfied with them hating on the previous animes that came before their time. And like Wale said, they could be like, yo, this anime from like 2015 was trash. Bro, like this is garbage. Will you watch this? But it's more so the appreciation and them not being real fans. And I'm not gatekeeping or anything, but it's just like,
it sounds
bro, it's like me watching basketball. I'm like, bro, I watch only Laker games. D'Angelo Russell is the truth. He is the best point guard.
Big cap.
But that's what I'm saying.
It's subjective, Bobby. Nah, it's
Nah,
subjective.
nah,
Bobby.
that's not subjective. He's wilding. That's why he's laughing. He's wilding.
This
No, it is
this
subjective though.
this-
It's not objective.
It is
Yeah.
subjective, but some things can be subjectively just ridiculous, bro. Like, come on.
Yeah, I know.
Yes,
Yeah,
but
who you telling?
this is what's said, and then I think also the short attention span because the animes now are shorter season wise.
Mhm.
So when they do come up, when people suggest like, "Oh, yo, watch this show," it's like maybe 80 episodes. They'd be like, "Nah, bro, that's too long. I can't do that."
Bro, Hashim, I'm glad you said that, Hashim. Now, I'm not saying watch One Piece. That shit is even for
I encourage you
season.
to watch One Piece, bro.
Even for no, shut up. Even for seasoned anime people, One Piece is a different breed of length. But if an anime like Dragon Ball Z or Yu Yu Hakusho or what's another one, Full Metal Alchemist, that reaches from 100 to 200 episodes, and you're like, oh, that's too much. Shut your ass up. Shut up.
Why do people
Shut
have
up.
to like something that's long as hell? That's part of the reason I don't want to get into anime.
But here's the thing, though. You're not calling yourself a mad anime fan talking shit on older anime when you can't even sit down for more than an hour because of this amount. It's not even that. To me, it's not that long. It's 20 minutes
It's not.
a piece of episode. I can blow through this new age anime in such little
2 days?
time because
Weekend, honestly.
yeah, because the shit is
weekend?
so. Yes, it's that.
Yeah.
It's not long. Do you know how long it is? You know how long a Game of Thrones episode is compared to an anime episode?
I'm
3
guessing by
episodes.
an hour.
Yes.
3 anime episodes and 1 Game of Thrones episode, probably.
But here's the thing: is the Game of Thrones episode going to keep your attention better than the anime episode? Or
It got
3?
popular for a reason.
I'm just saying, Game of Thrones be trending all the time for a reason. Just like when it was active, it was trending.
Oh, what was that? I actually didn't see it. I had no spoilers. I was not on Game of Thrones Twitter at that time until I started watching it, and I was looking forward to each episode.
And there's another issue with being mainstream. The more mainstream,
but my point is
Okay,
though, is that you're not gonna sit here and tell actual anime fans who appreciate anime for various reasons when your ass is just enamored by the animation and superficial shit that we've seen before already. We're not doing that. Know your role, know your place. I don't want to gatekeep, but actually part of me more and more kind of wants to gatekeep anime more and more. I'm not gonna lie. That's just me. I don't know how Sheen feels.
A hot take: something should be gatekeeped.
Say that again.
Like what, Bobby?
I think certain things should be gatekept. Personally,
Like what?
And why?
Besides,
I think certain like regional lingo, for example, like regional speak, it should stay niche. It should stay within the confines of the people who live at a demographic. It should not become something. You should not be in Cali trying to talk like somebody that's from Georgia. You sound crazy, brother.
That's hard. That's hard because people do move like lingo. Say I'm from like somebody from New York moved to Cali. They're still gonna talk like they're from New York.
Okay, but what? Okay,
and if you have a group of people like you and your friends just move all out there, then you still have that. Yeah, I think that's different, man.
Brother, you lived in New York almost your whole life, did you not?
I was about to say my whole life, but obviously not. Yeah, majority of my life.
Majority of your life, you lived in New York, yes?
Yeah.
Okay, you're located in Florida now, right?
Florida, yes, sir.
Okay, how long you been in Florida?
Year and a half. No.
Okay, can you count how many hands can you count on of the Florida lingo that you use on a regular basis? I'm pretty sure it's one hand, if that.
I don't use any Florida lingo. What lingo is there for Florida?
Okay, then that's my point.
I really don't know.
You stick to the language and to the type of dialect that you're accustomed to because you're from New York.
But you can
say a niche thing. You don't go. You're not in Florida. Oh, I'm gonna talk like a Floridian now.
But you take slang from other people. So I've taken slang from RDC World just because I watch their content, and they not from Florida. I don't know where they're from, honestly. I feel like DMV, but that's lean cuisine. But they're from Texas.
Okay.
Sorry, I'm bugging. I'm tripping. But I've taken some of their lingo. You know, I'm not.
But that's different though. That's different though. That's a cultural thing, which certain things culturally, like I said, should be gate kept there. But what I'm talking about technically is regional. So if someone talks a certain way from like the DMV or like, you know, Baltimore accent, they'd be like you or some shit like that. I'm going to sound crazy as someone from New York if I start saying, oh, two or some crazy shit. I'm going to sound
that's crazy. That's crazy.
That sounds nasty. That's my point. Wale,
That's
I feel
crazy.
like you got something to say about what I just said.
It's a conversation for another day.
True.
Okay, do you have like just something you want to put out there as a preview or something?
No, I don't.
Okay. All right. So on that note, we'll wrap it up. Leave you on that cliffhanger, whatever that means. Comment down below. Let us know what you think. Do you think it's better for something to be mainstream?
Hashim, back the hell up from the damn phone.
Brother, you just gonna ruin my outro like that. It's crazy.
I'm sorry.
That's crazy.
Comment down below what do you think. Do you feel better about something that you enjoy being mainstream, or do you prefer if it stays niche? Let us know why. Like, comment, and subscribe to the channel. Follow us on IG, HBCU3. All the individual socials are there. Follow us on TikTok, the HBCU Podcast. We got more confessions coming up. We'll bring in back Prove It or Lose It soon. You know, movie, film reviews, show reviews, whatever y'all want. Interviews. We got it all. So let us know, comment. And on that note, we out of here. Peace.